Hi.
There we are.
There we
Greetings,
are.
greetings, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Nolan.
Gotta love the music. I'm Daniel Pineda.
It is quite jazzy, and my
Snappy.
name is Adele Quo.
Our own Jordan over there,
It's
the camera guy, is
snappy.
dancing.
It's
Yes.
snappy. Even we got Jordan
Little
dancing
jig over
behind
there.
camera, too, out there. Here we go with our Valentine's Day show for 2019. Hope you're bearing up under this crazy winter weather.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Well,
Roller
yesterday was
coaster.
pretty nice.
Indeed. Well, here's what it looks like.
We broke
News and
records.
Community Bulletin
Yeah.
Board. Adele Quo is here with another installment of
It's Easy Being Green.
We've almost got a song. There's a song coming there. Real
Ooh, I
soon
hear
there's a
it.
song coming there. CBB, as I mentioned, to roll in talking about kleptocracy. There's a good word for you. For you
SAT word.
Wikipedians.
Whip out your
News for
app.
Seniors segment. And then a roll in from Luke Pohlman and Ellie Batson. That's the show.
I thought you were going to say, Luke, I'm your father. Well, that's right, Craig.
Social media.
You can watch the Arlington
dear.
Weekly News on our very own YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. Also, facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. And we can't forget the radio, right, Craig?
Also on the radio at WERA 96.7 LPFM on your radio dial. Check us out. We're in the air. Here we go. First of our news items. Well, Arlington County Board has approved pay increases. You heard that correctly. Pay increases for County Manager Mark Schwartz, County Attorney Steve Malsack, County Auditor Chris Horton, and County Board Clerk Kendra Jacobs. Mr. Schwartz's annual salary will increase by more than $8,000. Mr. McClassick will receive an increase of more than $7,000, and Mr. Horton will get about $4,000, and Ms. Jacobs will see an increase of a little over $3,000. The strange thing is that Mr. Schwartz has already ordered what he calls a hiring slowdown, we're quoting there, and warned of possible layoffs, service cuts, and tax increases to cope with a budget gap in the new fiscal year. It's not known whether Mr. Schwartz's pay raise was based on his own budget recommendation. So we'll spin that around a little bit more as that draws near. Daniel.
Well, for our second news story for tonight, we have some sad news. On January the 31st, a person was struck by a subway train at the Courthouse Metro Station at about 6:40 p.m. Firefighters arrived on the scene, shut off the power to the third rail, and examined the victim for signs of life. The victim was determined to have died before help arrived. The Metro Transit Police issued an update confirming that the person intentionally placed themselves in front of the arriving train and that an investigation is ongoing. We will attempt to learn about a possible motivation for the suicide as more information becomes available.
All right, Daniel, on a more positive note, also in our news items, our friends at Teatro de la Luna are back again with a presentation they call Canta mi Corazón, or My Sweetheart Sings. It's a night of ballads featuring vocalists Maria del Socorro, Ana Mer Castrello, and Jorge Anaya. And that's coming up on Saturday, February 16 at 7 in the evening at the NREC, National Rural Education, I'm not sure what that is, NRECA Conference Center. They're located at 4301 Wilson Boulevard. For more information, give them a call at the number on your screen, 703-548-3092. Daniel.
Well, on January the 29th, police were sent to the 2200 block of South Oxford Street after shots are heard shortly after 9 p.m. Officers arrived and separated 3 males who were involved in a physical altercation. One of the subjects had suffered a gunshot wound and was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The other men did not need medical treatment. All 3 have been identified, and police believe that there is no ongoing threat to the community.
And finally, in our news items, I think it's finally, yes it is, Arlington Independent Media, AIM, has sent a message to producers of upcoming fundraiser that's coming up, set to run from April 1st through the 14th. Producers are being asked to take a 2.5-minute segment out of each half hour of their show for an appeal. However, we at Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News here, I figure there's no point in waiting until April, so we're letting the public know in advance. Anyone who wants to beat the donation rush can do so right now, and you can do that by checking in on www.arlingtonmedia.org and then click on the donate button to make a tax-deductible contribution. You can also find out more about it at www.werafm, and it works the same way there. So check out those two places where you can help AIM with a little contribution and keep things rolling for us here. We'll be back with CBB right after we hear from Adele and another installment of
It's Easy Being Green.
Here's Adele, very, very festive tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the
yes.
color,
Hey,
green.
pre-Valentine's Day. I thought I'd
Pre-Valentine's
get a little
Day.
dressed
What
up.
better color than green for pre-Valentine's Day?
Teal.
Oh, teal. Pardon me.
Another
guess
type
it-
of green.
Here's Miss
Exactly.
Teal, Adele.
Welcome everyone to It's Easy Being Green. We've got some outstanding news brought to you by our very own Joe Tree Frog, our mascot. An American elm maintained by Barry Isaacs on his property since 1985 has been named a specimen tree in Arlington County. At a public hearing on January 26th, Mr. Isaacs' elm joins only 16 other privately owned and 9 publicly owned specimen trees. But Isaacs' exceptional tree is the first and only elm designated for its large size and condition. Isaac's elm has a circumference of nearly 149 inches. It stands 65 feet tall minimum, with a crown spread over 55 feet. The specimen tree designation by the Arlington County Board protects it from removal or injury. American elms, which is Ulmus americana, are loved and prized for their graceful, stately vase-like shape, with arching branches that are like spreading fountains, with green leaves that turn gold in the fall. What makes Isaac's elm designation even more distinctive is that elms are as large and healthy as his are truly rare because of the Dutch elm disease that decimated more than 75% of our American elms by 1989. The American elm was the most popular tree to plant, so that by the 20th century, many of our streets were lined with these beautiful elms that shaded our streets in the summer with their cathedral-like ceiling of branches. You can watch Barry Isaacs gush passionately on a YouTube video after his American elm received this specimen tree designation. This video highlights Mr. Isaacs' tireless commitment to ensure that 150 to 200 trees on his property are maintained to the highest level of care since he purchased his home on South Randall Street. He inoculates his elm every other year for 30 years to protect it against that dreaded Dutch elm disease that wiped out the American elm street trees. While Isaac's elm is truly unique and will stay this way as long as he's alive and lives there, he reminds us that our county and Arlingtonians benefits from having this tree protection program. People enjoy greenery, people like looking at these beautiful trees, and besides the aesthetics and beauty, the high heating bills are considerably lower because the trees over his home provide enough shade to reduce his energy use. The trees reduce the temperature by about 10 degrees or more during the summer. And having these trees instead of a lawn conserves water. So if you have a home with trees all around and much less lawn that needs to be watered, you actually can save money. So remember, it's easy being green, celebrating this beautiful American elm that was designated as a specimen tree.
That's quite an elm tree, and I wonder if he's named it.
It sounds like Joe has named
Joe
it
has.
Elmer.
Elmer.
Elmer the elm.
That's a great name for an elm
I think
tree.
so.
An
It's quite fitting.
Elmer. Excellent. Well, we should save our trees. He has 150 to 200 trees on his property.
lot of trees.
He's got a lot
Wow.
of trees on his lot there.
Does.
Holy
It's a
cow.
real tree,
Good for-
passionate lover type
Good for
person.
Mr. Isaacs. I like trees too. So
And an avid viewer of
Gotta
It's Easy Being Green.
stop on by and see his elm tree. Thanks, Adele. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it. What a
Thank
way
you
to
so much,
kick
Elmer.
off Valentine's Day with Something talking about elm trees.
American elms, no less.
American elms, I
Really
like it.
special.
That's great. Good stuff. Thanks, Adele. We appreciate it. Here we go as promised now. CBB, Community Bulletin Board, coming your way right here, right now. Here we go. Item number 1, Dying for Love. Well, here's a deep dive presentation for adults. It's called Dying for Love, and it examines the myths and references to animals who die as a result of the mating experience. Presentation will uncover the truths behind these stories and explore the benefits that the ultimate sacrifice brings to the next generation. There's a $5 fee for this event, and registration is required, so give them a call. This event is coming up Thursday, February 14, Valentine's Day, from 8 to 9 in the evening at Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park, 3606 North Military Road. For more information and to register, here's the number, jot it down, give them a call, 703-228-3403. Daniel.
They might be too busy with their dates, though.
Their dates?
On Valentine's Day.
That's a palm.
Well, Craig, on a cheerier note, there's a full moon hike coming up. Teens from the age of 14 and up can come along with a registered adult and join in on a hike through the winter forest. The event will conclude with a hot chocolate, which is going to happen indoors. Registration is required, and there is a fee of $5, only $5 per person. That all takes place on Friday, that's February the 15th, from 6 to 8 p.m. Also at the Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park, located at 3608 North Military Road. The phone number for registration is the same, of course, 703-228-3403. There, I can see them going to that, because that's on February the 15th.
15th. That's all right. You can have a Valentine's Day, stretch it out for a week or so. All right, moving right along here, also in our CBB file, as part of Black History Month, the Arlington County Public Libraries are offering a different movie each Friday on a different subject, or a related subject. I guess this time it's Southern with You. Take 2, South Side with You, the story of the young Barack Obama as he begins his courtship of future First Lady Michelle Robinson. Together, they experience an epic first date on Chicago's South Side. This movie is rated PG-13 and stars Tika Sumpter, Parker Sawyers, and Vanessa Bell Calloway. That's coming up on Friday, February 15, day after Valentine's Day, 2 to 4:30 in the afternoon in the Campbell Room of the Shirlington Branch Library at 3400 Campbell Avenue. Admission is free, FRW, free. You can't beat it. Daniel.
Can't beat free. Well, Craig, here's an event for kids aged 5 to 11. It's a chance for them to learn how to make their own Play-Doh. And this one will get, well, pretty experimental. It will start normally enough with flour as the basic ingredient, but then they can try mixing in such extra ingredients such as sand, corn, meal, and food coloring. As if it wasn't enough, there will also be animals on hand to act as models. Registration is required, and there is a $5 fee. After all, flour doesn't grow on trees, I think. This one's on Saturday, February the 16th from 2 to 3 p.m. That's at the Long Branch Nature Center and Park, located at 625 South Harlan Springs. To register, give them a call at 703-228-6535.
All right, Daniel, and news for seniors coming up right after we take a look at some video exploring the vagaries or the possibilities of kleptocracy. We'll be right back.
Kleptocracy, now at Arena Stage, is a fictional play based on historical events about the relationship of Vladimir Putin and Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who was once the richest man in Russia. It was written by Ken Lin, the Emmy-nominated writer of the Netflix drama House of Cards. A kleptocracy is a form of government ruled by corrupt politicians who exploit their citizens and natural resources to increase their personal wealth. The play opens in the 1990s when Khodorkovsky is buying up the privatization vouchers that have been issued so that citizens can buy shares of the state-controlled industries. He is also vying for the attention of lovely young Ina, although he is a married man. The play follows him as he acquires Yukos oil and attempts to sell it to Chevron. He developed a social conscience and became critical of Putin and government officials who were accepting huge bribes. Putin charged him with tax evasion, money laundering, and embezzlement. He was convicted and imprisoned. Jackson Gay directs this chilling tale of vice and corruption in Russia. Max Wartendijk portrays Khodorkovsky in his rise to billionaire oligarch, while Christopher Geary takes on the role of Vladimir Putin. It's a bit milder than the current-day version of him and includes a fascination with tigers. Bronte England Nelson plays Ina Khodorkovsky, and Candy Buckley plays an unnamed White House official. She's the only American in the cast of characters and represents George W. Bush's inner circles as a larger-than-life insider who drinks and hunts wildlife with the Russian men. Misha Kochman has designed a bleak set with a cold and industrial feel, and Nicholas Husong has effectively used its expansive gray wall as a backdrop for his projections. Kleptocracy continues at Arena Stage through February 27th. It's a gripping look at the rise of these two political figures during the time of upheaval in Russia. It's provocative and will force you to question Putin's actual power in controlling the destinies of his perceived enemies. Khodorkovsky is now living in exile in London. British authorities have accused the Russians of attempting executions on their soil. Americans have questioned the Russian involvement in our elections. This play will make you think twice about these things. I'm Denise Pringle. Now back to the news desk.
All right, thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise.
And it was Denise's review of Kleptocracy at Arena Stage. That's what that was all about. Here we go, moving right along now. News for seniors. Seniors glasses in place. Item number 1, the importance of diplomacy and how soft power benefits America is the topic of a program to be presented by Carol Stricker, a retired Foreign Service officer and former counter-terrorist and intelligence analyst, or counter-terrorist intelligence analyst. Ms. Stricker will share her experiences while serving in a variety of positions during her career, and that's coming up Friday, February 15 from 1 to 2 in the afternoon at Aurora Hills Senior Center. They're at 735 18th Street South. For more information and to register, give them a call at the number on your screen. And into your ear now, 703-228-5722. Daniel.
Well, a historically based two-act drama by Anthony E. Gallo called The Eaton Woman will be performed by the 7th Street Players the day before Valentine's Day. The play is about morals, adultery, lies, deception, and women's roles in Washington society, and in particular, one woman thought to be the most beautiful woman in Washington history. The free performance will take place on Wednesday, February the 13th from 8 to 9:30 p.m. at the Arlington Mills Senior Center, located at 909 South Dinwiddie Street. Call to register at 703-228-7369.
All right, Daniel, also in news for seniors, Bill Copeland from Home Depot will meet with seniors to discuss how to fix common household plumbing problems such as leaky faucets and clogged drains. Mr. Copeland is a familiar representative from Home Depot who presents many how-to-fix programs at senior centers throughout the year. The plumbing program takes place on Thursday, February 14 at 10 in the morning at Walter Reed Senior Center. They're at 2909 16th Street South. It's certainly a good way to spend Valentine's Day. You can register and get more information at 703-228-0955. Daniel.
Legal Services of Northern Virginia provides free, confidential legal assistance on a variety of issues to eligible seniors. Some issues include Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, consumer and housing law. That all takes place on Thursday, February the 14th between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. That's at the Langston Brown Senior Center, located at 2121 North Culpeper Street. To make an appointment, that is, call Legal Services at 703-778-6800. And thanks to our own Judy Masomny for helping us out with the senior stories this week. Thank you, Judy.
You bet. We appreciate it. Thanks, Judy. All right, we'll be back with sign-off and bye-bye right after we hear from our own Styrofoam mom. Here's Miriam and another installment of her Sustainable Scoop.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I am always marveled by the accomplishments young people can make when they put their minds to it. But given right now that our government is having such a difficult time protecting our natural resources, there are students in our region, the DMV, that are working very hard to do the research that we're failing to get done. And I want to welcome them. Luke Pohlman and Ellie Batson, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Luke, you're from James Madison High School?
Yes.
And this is where the program for stream restoration began. So could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the club originally started with 6 girls who wanted to do work outside of the classroom. And so they sort of partnered up with one of the teachers, Dr. Kirk Smith, and he helped them develop a model to assess stream quality. And so the club then began to shift towards more of a goal of working alongside more and more people to release brook trout into the streams that they were assessing. And so after they had established that, they then expanded into the restoration portion so they could sort of find one area where they could be releasing brook trout year after year.
So really having an environmental impact here at home and also learning to do some really complex research. Ellie, can you tell me a little bit about how you find time to be a researcher and a high school senior?
So it is a little difficult, but with the right time management and with all of the people at James Madison High School, it's been pretty easy to just plan times when we both.
And you started the program at West Springfield. How did you get that going?
So actually, me and my friend first heard about it at it was a Trout Unlimited meeting, and we met one of the girls at James Madison who had first pioneered the program, and then she got us involved. And then we just got really interested in it and just started
Does it really kind of help inform the other classes that you're taking to be involved in a project like this?
Yeah, it really helps with my oceanography and chemistry and biology programs.
And now, Luke, you did something that was really special. The work that Ellie and the other people are doing, not only were you doing, but you documented it and you made a documentary.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I created a documentary following the entire process of initially going out and assessing the stream with scientists to see if we could actually do a project, and then moving into the phase with students doing a preliminary expedition to investigate the stream's quality to see if it would be beneficial to do a restoration project, and if it would, what we could do. And then moving into finally working with students to remove invasive plants from the area and plant natives to really create an ecosystem that would benefit brook trout.
It's a real tool that educators can use, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, Ellie, how do you feel about the research that you're providing? Is it important, the work that you're doing, and in what way?
I feel like it's very important to the surrounding environment because of how important this species of brook trout is to the ecosystem all up and down the eastern seaboard. And I think that it creates a lasting impact that can really help a lot of different ecosystems.
And what's really interesting is you're working along with other high schools, sharing the data, and then where does the data go?
So the data is used by the students. We all log it into a system that Dr. Smith helped to create, and then it goes out to various scientific organizations in the area and to professors at colleges like George Mason University. And so the data that is being collected by the students is being used by real professional scientists for their work.
And tell me about some of the organizations that support what you're doing.
So a big thing actually happened with some of the organizations, namely Trout Unlimited, American Fisheries Society, and Isaac Walton League. Shortly after the scope in which I was filming for the project, they came together and formed a charter to distribute the model of location, assessment, and restoration nationwide. So they're going to be taking that system, really defining it at the core, and then sending it out nationwide so different high schools and organizations around the country can be doing the work that we are.
So I'm going to take you to a clip from your documentary from Dr. Kirk Smith because I think he just sums it up beautifully, and then we'll come back.
All right.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a long-term project where you actually have high schools working together? And other schools too, elementary schools, middle schools, working together instead of competing. That would be, maybe that's just an idea right now, but I think that in a perfect world, it would be great to have that as an example. for other school systems and other conservation organizations to follow as a model.
You know, you've got to move on to other things, and yet it seems like this is going to have an impact in decisions you make in the future. So, Elle, what are your goals?
I aspire to be a marine biologist, and it's really nice knowing all of the things that I've learned through this program because I can apply it to my future career.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And you, Luke?
So I would actually like to study documentary production, and so I really want to be able to find stories and things that are important, document those, and share those with other people to do like what the title of my documentary is cause a change. And so really invoke that emotion to cause a change and take action with people for all different types of topics around the world.
And to benefit your cause and stream restoration, they can watch your documentary. How do they get more information about what it is you're doing?
So they can go to the Northern Virginia Trout Unlimited website, and they're currently building a page in which it has a link to the documentary so they can watch that, and they're compiling all the resources that people would need to learn all about the model and the program and how they can establish that at their school, like through these organizations, and really create that foundation to do real scientific work in their community.
Experimental, scientific, hands-on learning. That's inspiration. Well, I want to thank you both. I'm very inspired by the work you're doing, and I want you to go back and thank all the other students that are doing it. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for watching another edition of The Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.
All right, nice job. Miriam and her two young proteges there, Luke and Ellie. We appreciate it. All right, bye-bye and sign off. Coming up right after my friend here, Senior Pineda, has some thoughts on personal thoughts on a family member.
Thank you, Trent. Well, I wanted to take some time to tell my family, because you are all my family, that to please pray for my godmother, my Aunt Betty, my Thea Betty. She is in hospice care. She is 72 years old and truly means a lot to me. I had a chance to say goodbye to her, and saying goodbye, she knew that I really loved Michael Jackson, and I was able to sing We Are the World and Man in the Mirror. And I just would, really take this opportunity to, if you could please pray for her. I love you, Aunt Betty, and I will continue to pray for you.
All right, thanks, Daniel. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for this pre-Valentine's Day edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. We thank you all for watching. Next week, if you're out there, we'll be here, and we'll try it all again. Have a safe week. Bye-bye.